For the presentation, I was happy to see the university continuing to try to reduce the number of automobile trips in town. My question is about Butler Tract. I took it from the presentation that it would become graduate housing, or that hasn't been decided? So could you expand a little bit on the options of what you're thinking about Butler Tract?
Yeah. Tim, thank you for the question, and I'm happy to have Ron or Cindy jump in on this. The only thing we're sure of at this point about the Butler Tract is that it's going to be used for housing. We're also sure it's not going to be used for undergraduate housing. Right? What housing will be there and when is undetermined at this point. It is, we think, a very attractive location for faculty staff housing, but it's also an attractive location for graduate student and postdoc housing. And so we still need to think about, and we need to accommodate all of that. Right? Over time, we're going to need some more graduate student housing. We certainly need more housing for postdocs, and we're going to need more housing for faculty and staff. So as we look at the planning process, Cindy put 3 locations up there. So some of that could happen at Butler Tract, some of that maybe could happen along Alexander, some of that could happen in West Windsor. So we have 3 options. Figuring out which ones, when, where, in what order, what mix, is a lot of what we're going to be talking about for the next year.
If I can just add one thing to that, the resident community in that in that housing, as Bob said, there are a couple different possibilities for that residence community. I don't want people to think get connotations that if it's graduate housing, it's somehow big and bulky. It still needs to fit with the neighborhood, as we've committed to in the community master plan. So the form of it would probably be consistent. It's just the population. We still are exploring different kinds of options.
And if I can just add one point to that. As we now think about what the zoning for that property is, because we're engaged in conversations about that, we'd like to do it in a way that preserves enough flexibility so that we could do a variety of these things. And so maintaining flexibility while still committing to housing seems to be an important goal for that.